fans of the planet's hottest entertainment with an edge. I'm Jaime En Fuego, here to welcome all of you to my namesake program, Enfuegotainment. That's right, where I'm getting back into doing film reviews once again, and so very happy that you, whoever you may be, are joining me for this. And a film came out in 2018 that was on my radar, and I was just so busy with the horror show or with things that, I was trying to get all my ducks in a row for films that were getting Oscar buzz and whatnot, and this is one that slipped under my radar. I'm trying to think of a new name for a segment where I finally get around to a recent movie that I missed that just genuinely blew my mind and that I adored, that I thought was absolutely awesome. And that is the case with this particular movie that a lot of people missed, and it's called Juliet, Naked. And immediately you're like, yeah, I've seen some movies like that. They're pretty racy, pretty saucy. This movie is not. Juliet Naked is from the same guy who wrote High Fidelity, about a boy. He's had a lot of different things turned into film. And gotta say, this gave me such High Fidelity vibes about just the way this film embraces music so beautifully and just approaches it with such reverence. And so that's why I am so glad that I finally got around to this film. And so here on Enfuegotainment, I always do Bueno, Malo, and Feo, so a little good, a little bad, and a little ugly. And the Bueno is in abundance in this film for me. The Chris O'Dowd, I want to say his name is. Oh boy, I hope I remembered it correctly. I know he was on the Channel 4 program called the It Crowd. I can't remember. Sorry guys, but yeah, he's an Irish actor, and his character is essentially obsessed with this musician named Tucker Crowe, I believe. And this is a guy who basically made one album called Juliet, and got a lot of love from college rock radio and stuff like that, and then just mysteriously in the middle of a show disappeared, and nobody has seen him for decades, and nobody knows, is he alive, is he dead, is he in hiding? And yet his album, just gained more and more grassroots underground notoriety over the years, and it's very it's very Jeff Buckley in a lot of ways, I guess, is somebody who I could compare it to. It's definitely singer-songwriter, but with amplified instrumentation up at times. Yeah, it's good. Since I like that sort of indie, kind of alternative rock approach, but it's not even full rock. There's some harsh, or not harsh. There's some hushed bits and whatnot, but it's like emo. It's like emo art rock kind of stuff, and I dig that sort of stuff actually quite a bit. I mean, for basis of comparison, there are original songs that were written for this film by the likes of Ryan Adams, and not to be confused with Bryan Adams, Ryan Adams. Also Conor Oberst from Bright Eyes and from his solo work as well. So that gives you the vibe, if you're familiar with either of those artists, what Crow, this imaginary, musician with super obsessive fans, invoked within people. And so the main character, played by O'Dowd, he has his own web blog slash just posting forum of sorts, where he has constant debate with other super fans and just interaction. It's very much like a Reddit kind of place, and it's all dedicated to this particular reclusive, notoriously loved musician and stuff like that. So the film really gets going, and the story is so wonderfully crafted, y'all. Seriously, we're introduced to his blog, whatever, his website, his web destination right away, before the credits even start rolling. And then the film really gets going when a mysterious package shows up, and it's for something called Juliet Naked, hence where the title is actually coming from. And the Naked is kind of like what has been done with many albums from certain big time artists. it's like a super stripped down, like bare bones version of an album. And so you hear a little bit of like a track or two during the film, and it's really hushed. It's like, you know, just like keys and, you know, some strings and whatnot. So it's not like a full band experience like we learn is on the Juliet record proper. Interesting thing though, Superfan Man does not get a hold of it right away, as he obviously would have wanted to. It is in fact discovered by Rose Byrne, his live-in girlfriend, who is fantastic in this movie. Be Still My Heart, is she wonderful. This is maybe, like, aside from when she played Super Bitch in Spy, and she's so funny in that, she is so genuine and she's a terrific actress in this. Her role is just splendid. But she is not a fan of her longtime boyfriend's obsessiveness and is jealous to a degree. Does not like dude's music. Thinks that it's very just overblown and not that good, and the obsessiveness is just strange to her. And so she opens up his package because apparently he never gets to his packages, and they sit and they pile up and something important could fall through the cracks. So she opens it up and it's an advanced copy of this Juliet Naked, and so she throws it on and listens to it. Boyfriend comes home very upset when he discovers that she has experienced it before him. He goes off and, you know, gets his headphones on and sits looking off at the pier, and, you know, has his little... I have emotional moments with records by bands that I love like that. I still remember when Chinese Democracy finally came out, and like I had my my mind-altering substances and my headphones, and I just sat and just listened, you know, top to bottom. I don't care what anybody thinks, I love that album. So yeah, he has his little, you know, religious, you know, like worshipful experience with the new record, but girlfriend thoroughly unimpressed, and she gets on his post in his message board place and posts a pretty scathing review of this album, and, you know, just saying, oh, it's a commercial cash grab, whatever, blah blah blah, and she says it's not very good. Lo and behold, guess whose attention her negative, non-ass-kissing, very real review gets a hold of on the message board, because apparently he has been just keeping a silent and unbeknownst eye on this particular chat group. Yeah, none other than Crow himself. And he sends her an email, and he's like, thanks for the honesty about it. That's, you know, it's nice to have somebody actually on that forum be just brutally honest about it. And they strike up kind of a pen pal, long distance, just friendship. It's not a romance, at least not at first. And this is all happening at the same time that boyfriend, who honestly, he's a really fascinatingly well-rounded character. He is, because he's got some really douchey personality traits, and he does something profoundly douchey in the movie, which kind of opens up the door for Rose Byrne and the musician, you know, Crow himself, played by Ethan Hawke, and that's where things just kind of go from, without really, you know, giving the basis for everything. And, you know, once again, you have to remember that, you know, Ethan Hawke is on, you know, the other side of the pond, and Rose Byrne and, you know, boyfriend are in, they're in the UK. So you have to watch the film to find out how a meetup could actually transpire, and it's interesting the way that it goes about and everything. So, I mean, without really just telling you the entire movie, which I gave you like just the setup, and, you know, nothing spoilery here, but the performances from that core three, O'Dowd and Byrne and Hawke, fantastic. Man, the supporting players even, like the kid who plays Tucker's son is great, and and some other, and the sister of Rose Byrne's character, fantastic. So this is it's a simple story that to some may feel a little familiar, and I guess maybe that's one of the only things that I could say would be a MALO for me, would be a bad thing, is that it's not really run-of-the-mill for me, but I could see how, with similarities to other sort of films and stuff, it might just seem a little too on the simplistic side, a little too on the safe side. But I mean, really, that was not an issue for me, because so much of the Bueno, from the music throughout to such terrific performances from the ensemble. I mean, yeah, if you're not into this sort of music, I mean, this is a film that's not for everybody, obviously. You know, if you're not into the soft strummy and, you know, indie whatever stuff, you may not may not be as compelled by this, but I mean, I don't know. It just, it really warmed my heart to such an awesome degree, and I can't really find a lot of bad in this. I mean, maybe the stakes might not seem high enough. Maybe you had a problem with you didn't think the original songs were that great. I don't know. Feo, ugly. Once again, this is a tough. I guess maybe an ugly that I can definitely think of would be just the obsessiveness that we get at times from fans, and that is the one thing that is kind of on the uncomfortable side with this film, is just realizing the level of fandom that this guy has, and there is and also the ugly dysfunctionality that has happened from his stardom, especially Hawke's character's relationship with his family. You can tell it's very strained, and it's of the ugly variety in the storytelling. There's a scene in a hospital that just makes you feel so uncomfortable, and you're just like, oh wow, that just it's just coming at you from all ends, man. And then there's also a dinner table scene with two characters in particular that is very tense, and well, you see it on the cover. I can at least mention the fact that O'Dowd's character, the obsessive fan, does in fact meet his hero, and it's just, there's a really interesting point that is made about how art and artists and appreciating your own work, and those who get obsessive about it, and it's like bordering ugly with the aspect of obsession, but then this is where the character does show redeeming qualities in the fact that it's that whole tough thing of you're never meet your heroes, they'll let you down kind of thing, and it's an interesting ugly dynamic that I found very fascinating and supremely intriguing as somebody who has met heroes and had them let me down, and who has been in these situations where you've had the exact opposite effect and approach. And so it's as a music journalist especially, I have had those scenarios where you're really let down, or where they're just as awesome, if not cooler, than you could have expected. And I've had that case with actors and actresses that I've talked to as well, along with directors and so on. So that's really the Feo that I can think of. But as you could tell, there's really very little bad for me I think certain people would find bad in it, but for me, this is like very, very close to being an Enfuego film, and I don't give out 5 out of 5 very often at all. And so for that reason, since I could see some maybe not finding it of that perfect variety, but I felt like it was such a touching and a heartwarming balance, and so affectionate and appreciative and respectful of just music in general, raised some very interesting questions. I guess maybe I had some issues with the ending, but maybe it was maybe too predictable, and maybe that's where the familiarity, where you kind of get a vibe of where this is going and what's going to happen. That's really the only bad that I can think about this film. And so just with that tiny little bit of Malo, I guess, that's the only thing that is keeping this from being 5 out of 5 for me. But this is definitely, 4 little fireballs down there, y'all. It is definitely 4 out of 5. It is a Fuego film, as I like to classify. So I extend a grande gracias to anybody who tuned into this. I had so many other films on the docket that I saw late, like A Simple Favor and Boy the Wife and various others, that I was just like, okay, I want to get to reviewing some of these now that I'm full-blown getting into review mode again. But I just watched this today and I loved it so much that I just had to film something about it today. So yes, 4 out of 5, a Fuego film, at least in my estimation, is Juliet naked. Good luck with what you might find if you Google the term Juliet naked. I am in no way responsible for what you may locate. I've been Jaime En Fuego, and yes, you can find me on all social media sectors like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, obviously here on YouTube, where I would greatly appreciate a little bit of that like and share, and obviously subscribe thing. And hit the bell if you're subscribed, so that you can get notifications about any time I put up a new review like this, or all of the ongoing coverage that I'm going to be doing in the next couple weeks about all of the Oscar-nominated films. Just put up my review of Bohemian Rhapsody that recently hit home release. And on the 24th of every month leading to the December release of Episode 9, I am doing reviews of all of the Star Wars films, including the Clone Wars. You'll see some Ewoks action. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. You can see my review from January the 24th. The 24th, the 4th be with you, Force, all that jazz. So yes, my review of The Phantom Menace Episode 1 is already up, so you can check that out if you like. And if you want to check out even more of what I do here on the YouTubies, the interwebs, please check out The Horror Show at youtube.com/The Horror Show channel. We do 2, sometimes 3 episodes a day. Yeah, everything under the horror umbrella. Just recently reviewed Happy Death Day to You at the press screening. I thought it was pretty great, and yes, that is a film that I would definitely vouch and say is certified Fuego as well. So yeah guys, that is going to bring us to the end of the road, and yes, I guess until the Wheel of Cough comes around once more, I will say hasta luego, Cinemigos, but I am hopeful that we get to reconnect here on Enfuegotainment sooner rather than later. Till then, peace!